Okay, so I think the second lesson I want you to do on Study Island is evaluate algebraic expressions, which that's just a fancy word for algebra. And remember, when we talk about algebra, it just means that there's a letter in there, and a letter just means that that's a missing number. So we got to figure out what that missing number is. And I had already begun this in the middle of the school year, and so that's why I'm on number 5. But I think 5 problems will probably be enough to show you how to do this, because it's pretty easy. So it's easier than the last, solving equations and inequalities. So you ought to be able to zip through this pretty quick. So here's the first question. If n is 417, so that's the value of n. So wherever you see an n, you're going to put 417 in the place of n. Then what is the value of 431 plus n? Now, what did I just say? If you saw an n, then you would put 417 in the place of n. So you're literally going to take this 417 and put it right there in the place of n. So now let's work that out. So 431 plus 417. Where did I get the 417 right here? Because it said n equaled that. And let's add that up. So 7 and 1 is 8. 3 and 1 would be 4. And 4 and 4 would be 8. Well, is 848 the same as 848? You bet it is. It's not that, it's not that, and it's not that. So letter A has to be the answer. You're just literally plugging in numbers for the letters. So there's letter A. Okay, now if n is 6 this time, and everywhere you see n, you're going to put a 6 in that place. Then what is the value of 7 times n? And I don't like that times. I wish it was a dot, because I think that can kind of get confused with the letters. But you can tell they've made the multiplication sign a little bit smaller as to not confuse you guys. So that's multiplying. So 7 times n. And where's my n? Right here. So if I put a 6 right there. 7 times 6, well, I know 7 times 5 is 35. And if I added 7 more, you should already know that, is 42. And I'm gonna, challenge you. Challenge you guys, I guess, that if you've already begun to forget your multiplication facts, that's something that you need to do. You either need to make some flashcards. You could just take like construction paper or something and do that. You could go on multiplication.com and just get good at it. I mean, by the time you get to 6th grade, you should not have to try to figure out what 7 times 6 is. You should already know that that's 42. So that's not 13. How would they have got 13 there? Oh, they would have added 7 and 6 to get 13. But that doesn't say add. That says multiply. So your answer has to be 42. How would they have got the answer of 48? 7 times what is 48? Nothing. 7 times 7 is 49. They couldn't have got the answer of 36 because 7 times 5 is 35. The only thing 7 times something in this list of answers is 7 times 6, that's 42. What's the value of the following expression? Now we've got D. So everywhere you see D, you have to plug in 3. So here's my D, so I'm going to put a 3 right there in the place. Now don't forget there's a certain order that we have to follow. Remember, because look, I've got some subtraction and I've got some division. So remember, there's a certain order. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Do you remember that order? It's been a while, hasn't it? And don't forget, these are like the same family and these are the same family. So P stood for parentheses, E stood for exponents, which we hardly ever see, but sometimes we do. M and D is multiplication and division. And remember, if you have both of those, you work left to right. And A and S is addition and subtraction. Same deal. If you have both of those, you work left to right. So let's see. Do I have any parentheses? Nope. Do I have any exponents? Nope. Do I have any multiplication and division? Yes. And since D was 3, I got that right there. So I'm going to plug a 3 in right there. I have to do this part first. I would not do the subtraction first. It's the very last thing I'm supposed to do. So 18 divided by 3 is going to get me 6. Then do I have any addition and subtraction? I do. Now I work 20 minus 6. Well, I know that in my head is 14, but if you had to write 20 minus 6 out, You can't say 0 minus 6. So the 2 becomes a 1, the 0 becomes a 10. You have to slap your leg on 6 and count up to 10. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gets you 4, and 1 minus nothing is 1. So your answer is 14. And I mean, they're going to try to trick you because they want you to subtract first, but you're smarter than that. You know not to do that, and we've talked about the order that you have to follow. So your answer is 14. Number 8, if n is 9, so that means everywhere I see an n, I'm going to put a 9 in its place, and I see an n right there. So I'm literally going to take this 9 and I'm going to put it right there. So it's basically saying 8 times 9. And I happen to know, and you should know too, that that's 72. 8 times 9 is 72. If b is 8. So here's my value for b, and wherever I see a b, which is right there, I'm going to put an 8. And same deal, you know, let's go back to that order. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, p is parentheses, so you have to do parentheses first. So since b is 8, and I wrote that 8 on top of the b, 4 times 8 would get you 32, and that takes care of that parenthesis. I don't have exponents, I don't have multiplication division, but I do have some subtraction. So then I'm going to work left to right. 32 minus 2 would get me 30. Order does matter. Order does matter. If not, you'll totally get the wrong answer. And last one. If n is 472, so everywhere I see n, I'm going to have to plug in 472, which means that's right there. So 472, and look, I'm subtracting this time, minus 316. Well, I can't say 2 minus 6. I mean, if I only have 2 cookies at my house, you can't come get 6 from me. But I can go next door to my neighbor. So my neighbor becomes, he was a 7, now he's a 6, and now I become a 12. So if I slap my leg on 6 and count up to 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's going to get me 6. And 6 minus 1 would get me 5. And 4 minus 3 would get me 1, which means my answer right there is letter C. Pretty easy. Literally all you're doing is plugging in you're plugging in values for letters. That's all it is, which is evaluating means just working out the problem, getting an answer. Algebraic means it's got letters in it, and you're plugging in numbers for those letters. That's all that means. Okay. So let me show you where that is. Whoops. That is under the heading 3 as well. So it's 3, algebraic reasoning and algebra, and it's E. 3E, evaluate algebraic expressions, which I think you should get through with that pretty quick. It's going to take you longer on this, and that's totally fine. I mean, if you want to work some, one day and some the next, and some the next, I literally only want you guys working like 20 minutes at the most a day on math, okay? And if you don't get it all done, that's okay too. I just want to see you giving effort and keeping your brain fresh, okay? So I hope you guys have a good week. Stay healthy. My family is still healthy, and I hope it stays that way. And not just hope, but I'm praying that too. And I'm praying for you guys. So I'll see you soon. Email me. We'll try to set up a Google Meet so I can see your face. You could text me. Until we see again.